a federal investigation into her conduct, and that, we believe, is already underway. But this is not just about Jussie Smollett. This is about many cases in the Cook County system that have gone unprosecuted or having charges reduced. The people standing around me can give you countless examples of how Ms. Foxx's lack of prosecution has cost our members and police officers throughout this country an enormous amount of problems, not to mention the fact that people in the Cook County are depending on the prosecutor to put people in jail, to charge them accordingly. We can only go back just a little over a week when a Chicago police officer who was off duty, sitting in his car, was murdered. He was murdered because of a real hate crime. The person and persons that were involved in that case, one of them should have been in jail at the time he was murdered. But because the charges were reduced, he was out on the street to murder an off-duty Chicago police officer. We cannot stand for this any longer. Ms. Foxx needs to resign, and she should do it quickly. At this time, I'm going to turn this over to the head of the North Suburban Police Chiefs in Cook County, and he's going to have a few words to say. Thank you. Go ahead.
Good afternoon. My name is Duane Mellema. I'm the current president of the North Suburban Chiefs of Police. I stand with my colleagues from the West and the South Suburban Chiefs to deliver our vote of no confidence in Cook County State's Attorney Kim Foxx. This action and vote by our membership has been taken only after serious deliberation and numerous attempts throughout State's Attorney Foxx's tenure to maintain communication between her office and our membership over prosecutorial decisions, policy choices, which have been made with seemingly no regard for the burden that it has placed upon our agencies and our communities. Clear communication and cooperation between police departments and the State's Attorney's Office is essential for successful prosecutions and providing for crime-free communities. The continued use of centralized felony review, which inhibits high-quality working relationships and accountability of State's Attorney Foxx's staff with suburban police departments, which creates communication problems and conflicts with our officers and detectives and negatively impacts the time and resources that are needed to do the basic investigations that are required of us. This cost is being borne solely by the individual departments and communities in question. Unilateral decisions to not prosecute a number of state statutes or to alter the parameters for charging well beyond the legal requirements make appropriate prosecution of crimes including retail theft, cannabis possession, suspended and unlicensed driving all but impossible for us. These are criminal acts that our communities demand that we as the police address and hold us accountable for when we're unable to do so. The recent actions regarding the dropping of all charges against Mr. Smollett are particularly worrisome due to the complete lack of communication and failure to follow established procedures by the Office of Kim Foxx. The North Suburban Chiefs are deeply concerned that these actions are pushing decriminalization of many criminal acts which our communities are not in agreement with. It is our solemn responsibility as police leaders to make the safety and well-being of our communities our top priority. These concerns have led our membership to join our fellow police executives in the West and South suburbs to take and communicate a vote of no confidence to State's Attorney Kim Foxx.
Thank you, Chief.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I want to thank you all for coming out here today. I want to thank my colleagues for being here as well. My name is Chief Stephen Stelter. I'm representing the West Suburban Chiefs of Police Association, as well as I'm the first vice president with the Illinois Association of Chiefs of Police. I just want to inform everybody right here that we're here for a reason. And the reason is that the citizens of Cook County have to realize that their state's attorney is letting them down. And she's letting them down every day. Back in 2016, when State's Attorney Foxx was campaigning, She had stated that she had a vision of transforming the Cook County State's Attorney's Office into a fairer, more forward-thinking agency focused on rebuilding public trust, promoting transparency, and proactive in the safety of our communities. However, after the Jussie Smollett case, the Illinois Prosecutors Bar Association accused State's Attorney Foxx of making repeated, misleading, and deceptive statements to the public and having failed in her most fundamental ethical obligations to the public. So I ask you, is that what promoting transparency is to her? Is that rebuilding public trust? State's Attorney Foxx has created her own policy, gone against state law, to change just the retail theft limit in regards to a felony retail theft charge. She has created a $1,000 limit, which is 3 times higher than the state law, and she's expecting 10 convictions out of that person before she will approve a felony charge of retail theft. I ask you, those are familiar with the Cook County court system, do you realize how many times a subject would have to be arrested before they actually got 10 convictions? So in essence, what she's doing is working the charge of retail theft out of the law, where someone will probably never, ever get charged with that crime. And what she's doing is she's enabling the offenders. The bad guys are not being held accountable. And State's Attorney Foxx's policies and her decisions are hurting and harming not only the citizens of Cook County, but it's an officer safety issue with the police officers here in Cook County. So today we're here to ask State's Attorney Foxx to do the right thing, to step down and resign from her position. Thank you.
Thank you. South Suburban? Go ahead. I'm good. No, go ahead. Okay.
My name is Jack Toohey. I represent the president of South Suburban Police Chiefs Association, with 60-plus South Suburban communities in that organization. I just want to reiterate some of the things that my fellow chiefs have said. One of the things that I do want to say is that this is pretty unheard of, that chief associations are getting together this tightly from across Cook County to address this issue. We do talk on occasion. We do have things that we do through Illinois chiefs. But on Cook County level, this is unheard of. This is unheard of in the 38-plus years I've been doing this in policing. And also to get together with FOP, we're glad FOP invited us to be part of that. For Chicago and the suburban Cook County to get together is unheard of. This obviously is something that needs to be addressed. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief. In closing, I first want to be clear. I'm very grateful to the chiefs around Cook County to join us here today in this question that we have to Kimberly Foxx to please step down. We need this for the people of the city of Chicago and for all of Cook County. And so I am grateful that top law enforcement officers were here today to support us and that we all stand together in this. Are there any questions? Sure.
How come there are no African-American police chiefs here?
The call went out to all police chiefs in Cook County who wanted to show up. That was certainly their decision, but we certainly made the invitation to everyone. Okay. Anything else? Thank you all for being here.
No.
Oh, okay.
I have more questions.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Okay.
I'm sorry. I thought that was a no.
So I just want to go over some of the particulars. You mentioned the $1,000 retail theft. And I believe Chief Stellar said something about an officer safety issue. What were you referring to there?
I'm referring to the difficulty that State's Attorney Foxx has imposed on our assistants to get us felony charges on dangerous criminals. And many times, the hoops that we have to go through to try to get a felony charge, and then most of the time, they're either not approved or the charges are dismissed in court without an officer's opinion, without notifying the police agency or the police officer themselves. So basically, in essence, she's putting criminals back on the street, either during the process or not charging them at all, and allowing them to go back on the street and commit their crimes again.
And how does that affect officer safety?
Because they're back on the street when maybe they shouldn't be. They should be locked up pending trial.
Kevin, you mentioned other police officers have run into problems.
Right, you know, this didn't start with Jussie Smollett. This started when we wanted to try and make sure that when officers received a battery in the performance of their duties, that the felony charges would be placed. And we continually had problems getting those charges approved, and they were continuously denied, even though that's what the law requires. And so that's what started our concerns about the state's attorney. And then it goes further into cases of where, and I know my second vice president, Marty Prybe, can go into it as to the case on Salache and Reyes, who should have never been let go. We have a problem with the state's attorney not going after the people who should be remaining in jail, giving certificates of innocence, and it's a continuous problem. We need to have a prosecutor who is going to charge people when they commit a crime. If there's no charges and nobody goes to jail, then obviously the law doesn't mean anything to anyone. That's a problem.
President Graham, what would you say to people who are perhaps on the other side of this issue today, that the presence here of all the police chiefs and your position on the Smollett case and Kim Foxx's tenure is purely political?
I can't imagine why it's political. None of these people up here are elected officials, okay? The only one who votes for FOP members are other FOP members, and there are no elections here in FOP, so I don't know what a political agenda there would be. So, I've heard that talk, and I disregard it. Somebody else?
Yeah.
Yes.
What's next? I mean, if you've delivered these letters to the state's attorney's office, have you gotten a response? What are you guys going to do now?
Well, first of all, I don't know that the state's attorney has gotten it. The first step was to hold a press conference and to have all my esteemed colleagues in law enforcement up here to make sure that you knew that throughout Cook County, we were speaking with one voice that there's a problem. And when you have this many law enforcement officials getting together and we all agree that there's a problem, I think people should take notice of that.
Was that the only letter that went out from the North Suburban, or were there other letters from the three officers?
I can let them, they're their letters. I'm going to let them address that.
Well, yes, there's letters from each association. There's 3 letters out there from each association.
To the state's attorney's office? To the state's attorney's office?
I believe 2 were to the state's attorney's office. 1 was addressed to me, and I will. They'll either revise that to the state's attorney, or I will forward that on.
Are you speaking with one voice if African-American police chiefs are so conspicuous by their absence?
We go from as far north as Lake County, Lake Cook Road, all the way down to the Indiana line, okay? I don't know that other people have said no to this. I don't know why other chiefs aren't here. I can't answer that, okay? I can tell you this, that they took votes among their associations, and I believe they were all unanimous.
Can you extend the invitation to Eddie Johnson, since he's a police chief?
Mr. Superintendent Johnson was aware of this, and he can speak for himself.
Kevin, when you referenced the federal investigation that you believe is underway, were you speaking specifically of the investigation that President Trump has called, or did you get an individual response to your letter?
I was referring to the letter that we sent out. We have gotten a response back from the Department of Justice, and they are asking for some additional information, and we're working on that.
Kevin, on a different subject, today, Mayor-elect Lightfoot is calling on maybe for the feds to reopen the case of the 3 officers that were put in the
Yeah. First of all, let me make this clear. Those 3 officers, there wasn't an ounce of any kind of evidence against them. I think Judge Stevens methodically went through each charge and found that there was no credibility. These were 3 innocent police officers who were charged by Patricia Brown Holmes, who was the special prosecutor. The same person also defended Jussie Smollett and decided to charge these officers, and there was no evidence of that. And so for now, for Ms. Lightfoot to Mayor-elect to make accusations that somehow they've done something wrong, that's irresponsible. Okay.
Well, if the FBI can look into Kim Foxx, why would they not be able to review the acquittal of the officer?
Well, I think there's already been a trial. I mean, do we now get to go to the feds every time we don't get what we want out of Cook County court system and then go to the feds? There seems to be a double standard there.
could argue it's the same way, the other way, too.
Tell me when they've upgraded charges to anyone other than police officers in Cook County in the last 2 years. Yeah, I haven't seen it. So if you can tell me, let me know.
But I'm sure there's decisions that previous state's attorneys have made that have been questionable to police officers as well. I'm sure state attorneys make decisions all the time not to prosecute someone. There are times that prosecutors decide not to prosecute. I think that when you take a look at it, they can legitimately say why they are not going to, and certainly we have avenues in which to readdress that. That's not the case with the state's attorney. She makes a unilateral decision that she's not going to, and I realize these are, to many people, small crimes, but not to go after shoplifters. And quite frankly, if you owned a business that was continually being stolen from, you're going to get upset. Going to the state's attorney is not as likely as them calling the police and expressing their frustration that why do I keep getting robbed or shoplift from, and there's no convictions. That's part of the problem.
Have you ever met with State Attorney Foxx about these issues? And if so, was there ever anything substantive that came out of any discussions?
I have met with her, and I do not believe that there was anything substantive that came out of it.
Okay. After the Smollett case, you met with her? Or?
No. She did call me.
And how did that conversation
She was very unhappy with me calling for a federal investigation, and I'm going to leave it at that.
Kevin, to be clear, how many police departments are you speaking for? I am speaking for the FOP. As you can tell, their own associations are speaking for themselves. But if somebody could count, if we could
here. Go ahead.
I can't give you a number, but we're speaking for every single police department in Cook County.
I don't think so.
Oh, yeah.
no, I don't think so either.
Yeah.
Well,
Is there
in your association.
all I can say is that we have 3 associations throughout Cook County. Every single police department in Cook County is affiliated with one of the associations. The emails went out. We got 0 responses on a no to the no confidence. Every response, I'm not saying everybody responded, but every response that was returned was a yes to the no confidence.
And how many are those?
I don't know. I'm only concerned with West Suburban, and I don't have an exact total, but I can tell you every chief that was there, I didn't hear back from 2, and that was it. And we have roughly 35 agencies.
Well, surely somebody can give a percentage as to how many police departments, how many police chiefs.
I think you can count for yourself with the amount of people up here.
Some speak for more than one.
You know what? I think the reality is that the Fraternal Order of Police here represents 12,000 police officers in Chicago. Our board of directors took a vote of no confidence, and we stand by that. And I think that what needs to be looked at is that a significant amount of law enforcement in Cook County is here saying that there's a problem in the state's attorney's office and is asking her to resign. I think that's the important part of this.
Anybody up here support Kim Foxx before she became state's attorney?
You know what? We don't get into that. Is the problem that we have right now, and we want it addressed. And that's why we're standing up here asking for this.
You don't really expect Kim Foxx to resign. So what do you really think is going to come out of the call? Seriously.
You know what? Certainly, I think it would be appropriate if she stepped down. What I think everybody...
You're not holding your breath, right?
You know what? Look, I can't speak for everybody up here, but I think I can fairly safely say that we want some improvements in that office no matter who's running it. And we want to see criminals prosecuted, and we want to see people convicted. And we don't want to have them say, well, this is a change of diversion from being prosecuted. We need to have people held accountable for the actions, just as we are held accountable for our actions. And I don't think we're asking for anything that's outrageous.
So what do you think's at the heart of this? Is Kim Foxx soft on crime, or what's behind it?
You know what? You're going to have to ask her that question. Okay? What do I think? I think she has not prosecuted people, and she needs to do that. That's what I think. And she needs to do that and not have charges reduced. Okay? Thank you. I appreciate you coming out here.
Do you have a candidate you would support for 20?
As I said to you, this is not about politics. This is about having people of Cook County being treated.
That's what I'm asking. Is there somebody that you would support that would do what you want?
I really don't know. I really don't know. You know what? When they step up, we'll take a look at the candidates. We don't have anybody in mind that I know of. I can't speak for the Police Chiefs Association, but certainly at FOP, we don't have anybody that we are courting or that has come forward that is going to have our endorsement at this point, okay? This is about a problem in the prosecutor's office, and it is not about politics, okay? Unless there's other chiefs. You guys have anything else to say?
Kevin,
Guys? Okay.
Kevin, on the other front, though, just wondering, have you sat down with Lori Lightfoot since the election? I know it's been just a few hours.
No, I have not.
Have you spoken with her at all?
No, I have not.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Felony review is refusing to prosecute aggravated battery of an officer. It is not as many as you would like.
Sometimes they do not enforce the felony charges on batteries to police officers. Okay, that is actually what started how upset we were with Kim Foxx, because these people come in here and we can see their injuries. We see people with a dislocated knee. We see people who have been bitten, who almost had their fingers bit off, and we can't get felony charges on that. That's a problem. Okay, thank you very much. Appreciate you coming out. Okay.